Okay, so be honest. Have you ever generated this beautifully animated scene, but then in the very next shot, your character suddenly looks completely different? Like your hero's face just randomly melts or morphs into someone else entirely. Yeah, it's pretty much the ultimate nightmare for any aspiring creator. But today, we're actually solving it. We're going to walk step by step through a virtual film studio to lock in that visual consistency once and for all.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going chronologically, right from a blank script all the way to a fully scored cinematic premiere. So we'll hit the AI animation revolution, then scripting and character consistency, directing, camera, and motion, bringing those characters to life, adding voices, music, and lip sync, and finally assembling the final cinematic cut.
All right, moving right along to Section 1, the AI animation revolution.
Zero budget? Infinite possibilities? It's crazy to think about, but you can now replace those incredibly expensive software stacks and entire production teams with just a single AI workflow. Platforms like Flova AI and Video Inu have completely revolutionized the 2D animation pipeline. I mean, they're basically acting as your personal production crew before you even type a single line of dialogue. It is a total game changer for independent storytellers who really want to master this specific art style.
Let's jump to Section 2, scripting and character consistency. So you kick things off by having an AI, like ChatGPT, Gemini, or GravityWrite, break your story down into specific, really manageable scene shots. But here's the absolute secret sauce for character consistency, especially when you're dealing with intricate 2D animation. You have to lock in their identity using both a face and a full-body reference image to create what we call a master grid. This completely stops the AI from just randomly guessing what your character looks like from shot to shot.
And this brings us to a massive breakthrough, the JSON method. It's basically a four-step trick. First, you generate your base character reference grid. Second, you crop the face really closely to lock in that identity. Third, you convert that image into a JSON file, which, don't worry, is basically just a simple text file describing the image. And fourth, you just edit that text. This lets you seamlessly change a character's wardrobe or background with surgical precision while their face stays perfectly identical.
Moving on to Section 3, directing camera and motion.
Now, you really have to choose your tools wisely here. Text to video? Well, that's best for quick ideation and brainstorming when you don't really have your visuals locked in yet. But if you want your 2D animation to maintain absolute, strict consistency, you have got to rely on the image-to-video method. You feed the AI that master character reference we just talked about, and then you animate.
To actually get the best results from these generators, you really need a highly structured prompt. Vidu AI offers this fantastic 5-part prompt formula that lets you command the AI exactly like a seasoned movie director. You just spell out the subject, the action, the camera movement, the scene setting, and the overall style. Boom. And speaking of camera movement, you can literally call out specific camera motions using tools like Pika Labs. You can command the AI to pan up, pan down, zoom in, or even rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. Sweeping the camera around your 2D characters to add that dynamic, cinematic flair, that is exactly what separates the amateur clips from real professional filmmaking.
All right, Section 4, bringing characters to life. Let's step onto the virtual animation floor.
The technology right now has just absolutely skyrocketed. Take Minimax AI's Image-to-Video 01 live model, for instance. It completely revolutionizes 2D illustrations by adding this enhanced smoothness, incredibly vivid motion, and super subtle facial expressions. When you combine that with engines like Video Inu's Nano Banana, they are just incredible at generating crisp, lifelike body movements without any of that weird visual distortion we used to see all the time.
Now, another massive technique you absolutely need in your toolkit is keyframing. This is a technique you'll find in tools like Luma Labs' Dream Machine. Basically, you define a starting frame and an ending frame, which forces the AI to generate the seamless transition right between them. Keyframing is absolutely essential to grasp because it literally gives you total control over the narrative flow of a single shot.
So instead of using jarring cuts, you can use keyframing to tell a whole micro-story within a single prompt. Imagine a character seamlessly transitioning from sitting on a park bench to turning and watching a beautiful sunset. You are literally directing the smooth evolution of the scene right from point A to point B.
Let's head into post-production with Section 5, Voices, Music, and Lip Sync.
To build your ultimate audio stack, you'll want to look at tools like 11 Labs or Minimax's native tools for some unmatched, deep, expressive text-to-speech. Then, for high-precision lip syncing, so your 2D characters actually match the dialogue perfectly, you'll want to check out Lalamu or Cdance 2.0.
And for royalty-free background music and sound effects, Pixabay is an absolute goldmine. Combining these transforms a quiet 2D animation into a living, breathing world with perfectly synchronized dialogue and atmospheric music.
But what's really fantastic is that if you don't want to juggle all of these separate audio tools manually, platforms like Flova have built-in agents to automate your emotional beats. They can automatically adjust your audio levels, seamlessly ducking, which just means automatically lowering, the musical score exactly when a voiceover plays. Seriously, it's like having an invisible sound engineer sitting right next to you.
And finally, Section 6, the final cinematic cut. It's time to assemble this masterpiece. Just follow these final steps to weave your whole film together. First, import all your clips sequentially into a timeline editor like CapCut. Next, drop in your generated voiceovers and adjust the lengths so everything flows. Then, layer in those sound effects and that awesome background music you sourced. And finally, you can enhance the resolution with a tool like HitPaw right before you export. You are literally pulling together consistent 2D characters, sweeping camera motions, and dramatic audio into a perfectly paced film.
So, you now have an entire, fully functioning animation studio right at your fingertips. The question is, what story will you tell first? The old barriers to entry are completely gone, leaving you with just incredible creative power. So I challenge you to go out there and create your very first AI masterpiece today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see what you build.